What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here. Alright guys, got another video from Popcross Studios, and this is what if Wednesday characters were X-Men. Okay, now this looks interesting, you know, because I do know about the series Wednesday. I haven't been able to have time set aside to see the whole thing, but it's gonna have spoilers, but I don't really care about that. So yeah, let's see what he's got for this one. See, turning them into X-Men, interesting. So let's go.
The video contains spoilers for Wednesday Season 1. Once I saw that Wednesday got officially confirmed for a Season 2, I decided to do what a bunch of my subscribers have suggested.
Wednesday does not smile.
I gave it a watch.
If she smiles, except when she's going to do something really, really bad.
Similarities to Marvel's X-Men. I mean, to be fair, it also had similarities to Harry Potter, My Hero Academia, Miss Pedigree's School for Gifted
Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children,
story
dude.
about a bunch of kids with special abilities.
And the movie had nothing to do with the damn book. I hate it when they do that.
And I thought X-Men would just be the most fun combination. So today I'm taking characters right out of Wednesday and putting them in the universe of the X-Men. Let's go. Hit like if you want, subscribe if you feel like, but either way, enjoy the show.
Okay.
Despite being a mutant, Wednesday Addams had never had any interest in attending Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Both her parents had gone there as children and loved their time at the school, but that only made Wednesday that much more opposed to it. She had no interest in following in her parents' footsteps. She wanted to forge her own path.
Okay.
But she was eventually given no choice in the matter. Wednesday's mutant abilities were far from evident at a glance. Some people had obvious physical traits that revealed them as mutants to any who saw them, but Wednesday's were simply to have visions about pain or death coming to anyone she touched. She could have lived around normal people easily without being subjected to any of the bigotry sometimes targeted towards mutants. If it weren't for the fact that she openly flaunted her mutation whenever she could. If someone made her angry, she'd touch them and tell them how they were going to die, sometimes telling the truth and sometimes making something up about it happening soon to mentally torment them.
Jeez,
After
damn,
incidents
girl!
of this at multiple high schools, her parents eventually decided they had no choice but to send her to Xavier's.
Really
to
feeling
learn
the
to use her
hardcore of that
abilities more
shit.
responsibly. And so she was taken to the school's location in Westchester County and left in the care of the current headmistress, Emma Frost. Charles Xavier had started the school and been its head.
Oh yeah, those two will get along like a house on fire.
But he was currently dead for the third or fourth time, so the stern, white-clad blonde mutant who would grow to have little patience for Wednesday's antics was presently in charge. While Wednesday was skeptical about ever enjoying herself at every turn of her first month at this school, she would come to find some of the activities to her liking. Interacting with certain professors allowed her to revel in her more macabre side, which bordered on being her only side.
Exactly.
She'd been a well-trained sword fighter prior to attending the school, and enjoyed the fencing classes taught by Kurt Wagner, aka Nightcrawler.
Nice.
While partaking in them, she'd also do all she could to learn more about his demon father Azazel and his supervillain mother, Mystique. Wednesday would also goad Ileana Rasputin, aka Magic, into taking her on multiple occasions to the demonic realm known as Limbo, which Magic had once ruled over. Well, she'd rarely be willing to admit it openly, Wednesday would come to love her time at Xavier's, and eventually set the goal of gaining one of the most coveted positions in the school, becoming a member of the X-Men. Not because the idea of being on a team appealed to her in the slightest, but because being given permission to use her abilities to torment villains was very desirable.
Damn, that's
Wednesday.
brutal. Yeah, sounds like her. Also, she can warn the team if they're gonna, die on this mission or something like that. Help them do something different.
Another student who grew a desire to join the X-Men was Wednesday's roommate, Enid Sinclair, who also had no interest originally in joining the team, but for different reasons. While the two roommates would eventually come to be good friends, Wednesday and Enid had a rocky start to their relationship, as Enid was a near polar opposite personality to Wednesday. She was bubbly and colorful and had actively tried to keep her mutation a secret prior to coming to Xavier's. She didn't want to face the hatred that some other mutants got, but that was also harder for her to avoid, as she was the daughter of Rain Sinclair, who herself had been a member of the X-Men, among other super teams, under the name Wolfsbane.
I was wondering, isn't she just Wolfsbane though? But oh my god, that's awesome!
Abilities, enhanced senses, strength, speed, and the ability to grow claws from her nails, but she hadn't yet manifested the power to transform into a wolf-like state. Wolfsbane worried that Enid's abilities weren't coming forth because Enid was so driven to hide her powers. So she sent her to Xavier's so she could see other mutants embracing their abilities and their true selves. Wednesday was a surprisingly good influence to her in this regard, as were many of the other friends she made. She quickly came to embrace her
Who's her father,
and eventually
I'm curious.
more so herself, though it would still take some time for her to acquire her full powers. An important part of her growth came as a result of listening near non-stop to the mutant music pop sensation Alison Blair, aka Dazzler. Dazzler was so proudly a mutant that she'd use her ability to alter sound into light on stage when she'd perform to thousands of people to elevate her shows. Enid would play Dazzler's songs on repeat in
Jubilee
hers
used
in
to do
Wednesday's
stuff like
room.
that too. But I think she used to street
Wednesday
perform.
threatened to smash Enid's speaker into 1,000 pieces, then make her eat the shards one by one. From then on, she wore headphones to enjoy Dazzler's work.
There you go.
But she'd eventually get a chance to see her
ass.
new hero in person, as Dazzler was close with many members of the X-Men and would come to the school partway through the year to perform at their dance. Combat Professor Wolverine also didn't gel well with Enid's bubbly personality, but had been interested in helping Enid embrace her powers. Partially as a compassionate teacher, but also as a friend of Enid's mother. He introduced Enid to Dazzler one-on-one, and the mutant singer spoke just the right encouragement to Enid to give her the last push to embrace her true self. Wolfsbane had been, at times, too pushy and driven to bring out her daughter's full potential, but eventually the path she'd encouraged Enid down had allowed her to grow into the mutant she'd been born to be. Near the end of her first year, Enid did indeed achieve a full wolf transformation. From there, she'd continue to hone her abilities more and more until it was undeniable that she was worthy of becoming an astonishing member of the X-Men.
Furries. Yep. So, rather than draw her, he draws her persona.
Not every mutant to attend Xavier's was there with full endorsement or encouragement from their parents. Many, in fact, were runaways who needed to escape families who didn't understand or accept their powers. Bianca Barclay was someone who needed an escape as well, but more so because of what her mother wanted her to do with her abilities. Bianca's mother was a member of the Hellfire Club, a group started by wealthy elites as a collective under which they could gather influences to have control over economic and political matters worldwide. It had fluctuated over the years in regards to its morals, sometimes working in favor of human-mutant relations, but it was far from reliable, and Bianca eventually grew to
the Hellfire Club. They used to always think that psychics were the superior mutants, the real mutants.
Gabrielle.
That everybody else was
Gabrielle
beneath
had
them.
only been accepted as a member of the Hellfire Club because of Bianca, who, at a young age, gained the mutant ability of influence. She could speak a command to anyone and compel them to do as she desired, an obviously coveted ability for a group obsessed with power over world leaders. Bianca had changed her name and come to Xavier's on her own, telling nobody of her past life as a part of the Hellfires, though Headmistress Frost knew all along, being a past important member of the club herself.
Yeah, she was one of the higher-ranking members.
Bianca quickly became popular and thrived as she'd been encouraged to hone her mutant abilities from a very young age, and was very adept with them as a result. Beyond having powers of influence, she also had an aquatic mutation that would manifest whenever she touched water. Her skin would turn scaly, and she'd grow gills and webbing between her fingers for fast reversal. On top of that, she was also an adept sword fighter, easily the top of Nightcrawler's classes, even besting Wednesday on their first day sharing lessons. She and Wednesday would be rivals early in both their time at the school, as, despite being outwardly confident, Bianca envied Wednesday's lack of insecurity around what others thought of her. Plus, it wasn't difficult for Wednesday to make enemies as a result of her cold, sometimes compassionless demeanor. Still, through many mutual trials, the two would eventually grow to be not friends per se, but friendly enough with one another to tolerate working on the same team.
It's called
as
frenemies.
Bianca, too, would grow to become a revered member of the X-Men.
That seems to be... Oh, they still got another one.
Tyler Galpin's journey to becoming a member of Xavier's school
Jeez.
would be in even farther contrast to his other classmates.
Yeah, no
For a
shit.
time, he'd simply been a troubled boy whose father was distant and worked as the police chief of Westchester County, making him constantly on watch for mutants from Xavier's causing trouble in his town. Tyler's mother had died when he was young, and he'd originally had no idea that she herself was a mutant. His own powers had remained dormant longer than most mutants, but when he was 17, his abilities were awakened by force. This was done by a woman with a passionate hatred for Xavier's school. Madeline Pryor had a complicated history with the school and the X-Men, having been a dark clone of past member Jean Grey, and once married to, then abandoned
she was
by,
called the Goblin
Scott
Queen
Summers,
for a while.
aka Cyclops. She'd since wanted to see the school burn, and with her telekinetic and telepathic abilities, she'd sensed the powerful, monstrous mutation waiting inside Tyler. She went to the boy and used her abilities to manipulate his mind into thinking that the mutants at Xavier's were the cause of all his worst troubles in life. She convinced him that his father was distant because he was always worrying about what the mutants would do to their town, and even tricked him into believing his mother had been killed by mutants. With that stuck in his mind, it wasn't hard to convince him that Xavier's had to
Though
be
that was mostly
destroyed by
Cyclops'
any
fault
means
why she was
necessary.
such a bitch.
She helped awaken his mutation.
As soon as Jean
to
reappeared, he
transform
dropped
into a
her ass
lanky,
like
monstrous
friggin'
version of
newborn
himself,
giraffe.
so he could start
Kerplop.
killing people around Westchester to frame the students of Xavier's. He
Jeez.
even became friends, and eventually more, with Wednesday to get into the school events without revealing himself to be a mutant. But Pryor and Tyler underestimated Wednesday's detective skills, as well as the willingness to help in rehabilitation from the teachers of Xavier's. After his powers and allegiance to Pryor were revealed, there was a battle with the mind-controlled mutant. He'd be apprehended, then the X-Men would find and take down Pryor as well. Tyler was then brought into the school so they could do all they could to reverse the damage done to his mind by Madeline. Emma Frost and multiple other telepaths and teachers spent weeks trying to help Tyler see that the people at Xavier's wanted the best for him, and that even with all he'd done under Pryor's influence, that this could still be a safe place for him. Eventually, he'd be allowed to roam free with the other students, who would further help show him that many of the mutants at his school were still willing to embrace him after all he'd done. He'd even come to learn how to use his powers on his own whims.
Just let him go. He's killed multiple
he'd never
people, but
become a
just let him
member
go.
of the X-Men himself. He would come to be a willing student, eager to learn to embrace others' mutations as well as his own.
These are like some textbook typical cases for students at Xavier's school.
I wouldn't put these up there with my most creative designs, but overall I'm pretty pleased with how this all came together.
The Wednesday
If you want
one
more
I
stuff
like the
like this,
best. I
I've
think
done
that one
tons of
turned out the
videos of
best.
putting different things into Marvel universes, but for more superhero stuff, I'd specifically recommend my Pokemon as superheroes episode.
Yeah,
Still
I like
planning to make
those.
a villains episode out of that sometime soon as well. But besides that, that's all for today, except of course
he already
for ending
did
this
that
video
one,
on
but-
some kind of positive or inspiring note, and the thought I want to leave people with today is from a man named Trevor Moad, who simply says that attitudes are contagious. Both positive ones and negative ones. So think about how the people around you are more regularly acting and how you yourself are acting. Everyone is going to have positive and negative times,
Good
but
point.
if the people around you are near constantly being negative, then you're more likely to become more negative yourself. And if you're always acting negative, that's going to influence the people around you.
Famous
to do the
superheroes
same
of
thing.
Mandalorians.
We're always
Maybe I'll get into that
affecting
one
each
then.
other, so do your best to be around people who are
Oh, that's
positively
a
affecting
short.
you and to positively affect other people yourself. I hope that's inspiring to someone out there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode on Friday. Goodbye.
Okay, so that was pretty good. Interesting. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I did. Like this video, guys. Subscribe. Definitely click on the link to the original. Like and subscribe over at Popcross, guys. He's got a lot of good shit there. It's going to take me forever to go through everything. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.